talking to Carlos Moreno from here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Carlos, go ahead and introduce yourself. What do you call yourself when people say, what do you do?
I'm a graphic designer. I work in the marketing department at COP Tulsa. We administer the Head Start program for Tulsa, cool. Union, and Sand Springs.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And your passion, though, is Code for Tulsa, right?
My passion is making Tulsa a better city.
Yeah.
And so I'm super proud to work for COP Tulsa, and in my volunteer capacity working with Code for America and helping to lead the brigade here in Tulsa.
Yeah, all right. Now you're using some lingo there already that viewers might not understand. What is a brigade anyway?
So the brigade program is one of two programs that Code for America heads up, and it's the volunteer arm of Code for America. So there are 70 brigades all over the country, and Tulsa is one of them.
All right, good. So Jennifer, let's go ahead and shift over to you. Tell us how to pronounce your last name. Is it Pahlka?
That's great, yes.
Did I say it right? Okay,
yes.
good.
Well, my relatives in Oklahoma City would say Pahlka, but it's either one.
Yes, okay. All right, well, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about what you do for Code for America. You're one of the full-time staff for Code for America, right?
I started Code for America, back in 2010, 2011. We got, and my role is to kind of do whatever needs doing. My role today, and I think for the foreseeable future, is to support folks like Carlos and the others around the country who are really, I think, rebuilding America and American government from the ground up. So we do whatever we need to do to fulfill our vision, and our vision is that government can work for the people, by the people in the 21st century, but we all have to help. We've got to stop saying, oh, we don't like how government is run, and start saying, actually, we have the skills, especially tech and design and data skills, to make it work much better than it does today. And that's what these guys do, so my job is to help them out.
All right. So now talk about what Code for America's mission is, Jennifer.
Well, our mission basically is to make government work better for people, but also improve how the public can improve government. So we started out by having a service year program for people who wanted to take time off from their tech jobs and go work with city governments. We still do that. We still obviously support these Code for Tulsa and the other 70 brigades around the country who are making apps, working with open data, helping cities realize that they can do tech and data a much better and faster and cheaper way. We also taken some of the projects that have come out of our brigade program and our fellowship program and said, these don't just need to be in one city, they can be national. So places like Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. We started a little pilot in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and now it's grown to now be adopted by the state of California, and it will be in every California county by the beginning of next year, and it may be able to go national. Some of the work that Code for Tulsa is doing came from a different project that was started in Atlanta, and because of the wonderful persistence of this team and their ability to adapt it to Tulsa, we're now seeing, wait a minute, this could be in every jurisdiction in the entire country, and we can solve national problems from the local level up. These are the OGs here.
There was a handful of brigades that started right at the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
And Tulsa was one of them.
And Tulsa was right there.
Tulsa was right there. But yeah, Open Oakland's been around since pretty near the beginning, and has learned a lot of the lessons and built the community. Sort of like in Tulsa, you've got a situation where they made a great connection early on with a certain person on council. For us in Oakland, it was a councilwoman named Libby Schaff. She then championed the open data policy, as it happened in Tulsa, worked with Open Oakland to write the policy, to get it passed, then to make sure that people were using that data, and continued on that journey of what can open data do for us, what can the engagement with the community do for us. She then actually she will tell you, on the encouragement of me and many other members of Open Oakland, decided to run for mayor and won.
Right. Well, so let's kind of shift a little bit, because what year do you say is the first year for Code for America?
We would say that it started in 2009, 2010, but our first year of a fellows program where we had people coming in for a full year of service was 2011.
Yeah, okay. So big changes in the country now. I've just noticed, covering City Hall in Oklahoma City, and covering government agencies, a big school district there and all that there's just a different mood now about openness. There's a certain kind of surliness about, well, who are you and how come you're asking, and I don't have to talk to you, kind of approach like that. Are you seeing that elsewhere, or are people in Oklahoma City just especially cranky?
I think progress is never linear, and you see forward steps and backward steps. What I would say, though, is I would bet everything I have on this being overall forward progress. And for folks who don't want that data to be open, whatever it might be, I understand the reluctance, I understand the concerns, I understand people who are worried about risk. The reality is the genie is not going back in the bottle. And if you lean into it and take that openness as an invitation to work with your community, because your community is willing to work with you, so much good is going to come out of it, but you've just kind of got to get over that. And I think empathy is what we say is one of the core values of Code for America. It has to do with empathy for people who are trying to use government services. It also has to do with empathy for people who work in government, and that we're not going to come beat you over the head with an ideology that says it should be open for openness' sake, but we're going to say there is a lot there, and if you can keep your ears open and work with us, we're going to come together to find something that's so much better.
Shaking hands across the table is always better than pounding a table.
Sure.
I would agree.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we've had to learn as a brigade over time. A lot of our first projects, the pattern that we followed was we would develop something, bring it to city council, they would ask us a bunch of questions, and then we would get frustrated and pound on a table because we didn't understand what they were saying and they didn't understand what we were saying. So we really had to take a step back and learn city government and learn county government and learn how things worked and who is making the decisions and what does the mayor's office play, what role do they play, what is the role city council plays. We had to sort of learn all those bureaucratic cogs in the wheel to really understand what our role was, so that the next project we came back with, we said, okay, we've asked the questions ahead of time, we've gotten permission ahead of time, you understand what we're working on, and now we can have a much more collaborative relationship because we built those bridges beforehand and not sort of after the fact. So that was a lesson that we've learned over the years I think has been really valuable for us. And now, for example, our meeting this morning with the City Council, not only are they excited about what we're doing, but they're actually thinking of ways that within the City Council they can support our projects. So that's a huge step forward.
Ideas now, where
absolutely.
It was the other way around.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Huge difference.
Yeah.
And we see people from the government now, it's sort of the word gets out in a city that you've got a brigade, and then the city people who work in the city start passing it around. If you want help with that project, if you go on Wednesday nights to Code for San Francisco and pitch it, they might help you out. And and more they're showing up saying, I've got this data about fire inspections and I really need someone to help me understand how we are going to prioritize inspections so that we reduce the number of fires, and people help them out.
My experience covering City Hall has always been that city staff just simply want people to understand what they're doing. That a lot of the people that come to City Council and shout and they're mad about something because they don't know any place else to go. City staff want people to know where to go to get a problem solved. They hate to see people being frustrated about things. Most Most people in city government, I understand. So, what do you think the future is? Last question. What do you think the future is for Code for America now? What is it kind of out there that Code for America wants? Where does Code for America as a national organization, where do you want to go next?
Well, I like to follow these guys and the other ones around the country that are really pioneering it and say, these are the seeds, they're growing into plants around the country, and how do we tend them and give them the water and the air and the sunlight that they need. What I would really like to think about is, what's the world look like when anybody who says, yes, if government worked better and worked for people, we'd live in a better world. I want to help make that true. Anybody who says that and raises their hand to help ought to be able to help. And so we've got a long way to go to make that a reality, but we can see it happening, so why not believe in it?
Good.
Sure.
If people, Carlos, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to piggyback off of that and say what I'm excited about here in Tulsa is that because of our experience, and because we've been doing this for going on 6 years now, we're able to take our experience, our knowledge, and help start other brigades in other areas. So tonight we've got Kansas City, Muskogee, we've got Wichita here, we've got Dallas, who hasn't started a brigade yet but is interested in starting. We've got Osage Nation, who would love to have a code for Osage Nation start for their tribe. And so we're now becoming sort of this regional leader in helping this spread to other communities, smaller communities, and even bigger communities like Dallas in the region. So for us to become a regional leader in this area is very exciting to enable citizens in all of those places to raise their hand and say, I want to help out.
Yes. Jennifer, people want to, Carlos, I'm going to come to you next. If somebody watching this video on YouTube wants to learn more about Code for America, where do they go?
CodeForAmerica.org.
Okay, and Carlos?
CodeForTulsa.org.
All right, that's easy.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for this. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you so much.